Hello everyone, welcome to my Yelan guide. Today we're going to talk about Yelan's kit, her best weapons, her best artifact sets, best artifact stats, and ER requirements for different teams you want to play her in. So let's start by taking a look at her kit. Her normal attacks don't really give anything extra to her. What does though is her special charged attack, the breakthrough barb, which is a quick charged AoE hydro damage that she can deal. Connecting to this is her skill that can mark multiple enemies and deal damage to all of them. And this skill can reset her breakthrough state. This is still not really the main selling point. The main selling point is her burst. Her burst is an off-field hydro damage that can be triggered in two ways. The first one is whenever your on-field character does a normal attack. Whenever that happens, 3 instances of hydro coordinated attacks will be fired by her dice that is active while her burst is active. She can also trigger it whenever her lifeline explodes, so whenever you exit a skill. Both her skill and burst are HP scalings, so you want to build her Yelan with max HP. We'll come back to it later. Let's look at her other talents. The first passive talent gives her extra max HP. By playing her in a 4 elemental type party, you can increase it by 30%. But if you want to maximize her HP truly, then you're gonna have to play her in a team with 3 different elements and 2 hydro units. So Yelan plus another hydro unit, because that gives her 18% maximum HP plus 25% maximum HP from the hydro resonance. Her other selling point, the other passive talent, gives your active character 1% damage, which gains an extra 3.5% damage every second your active character spends on field with Yelan Burst being active. Yelan's Burst has a 15-second duration, which means you most likely want to use her right before your DPS or right before the shielder that switches into your DPS, as your main DPS usually spends 8 to 12 seconds on field. For example, you want to play her with Hu Tao, her Pyro infused attack duration is 9 seconds. Use your Yelan Burst, then switch to your Shielder, and then back to Hu Tao, and Yelan's Burst is going to be active for the whole duration of Hu Tao's Pyro infusion. Another character that you want to play her with, Colorind. She has night vision duration for 7.5 seconds, so you can use Yelan, then your Shielder, then back to Colorind. With Arlecchino, you want to use your Shielder, then Yelan, then Arlecchino, as she doesn't really have a duration for how much time she has the Pyro infusion. It's more about how much bond of life she has. With Yoimiya, it's 10 seconds, so you probably want to use Yelan, then the Shielder, then Yoimiya. And with Raiden, it's 7 seconds, so you can use Yelan, then the Shielder or Bennett, for example. And then Bennett's burst is gonna be active for the whole time Raiden's burst is active. Now that we know what she does, let's look at her weapon choices. Firstly, you can play Yelan in 2 different playstyles, in my opinion. The first one is a support-focused sub-DPS, where you want to use her only as a hydro applicator and as a buffer for your main DPS, and her personal damage isn't what you're aiming for. For this gameplay, the best weapon is the Elegy of the End, as it provides EM and attack buff to your whole team, and it has a high energy recharge stat which enables Yelan to burst comfortably every rotation. If you don't have this weapon, don't worry, you can use the Favonius Warble, which has even more energy recharge, making it very easy to get your burst back every rotation. Her burst is obviously a very important part of her kit, as her damage and buffing capability is mainly coming from that. For this playstyle, these two weapons are really the best. You should have a Favonius Warble in your inventory, as you get one after completing a Mondstadt Archon quest. If for some reason you don't have one or you use it on a different character, I would recommend putting it on Yelan because she is probably stronger than whatever you're using the Warbow on. If you really want to look for another option, I can recommend Sacrificial Bow. It has good ER and enables you to use your skill again, which is kind of like budget C1. You can feel like you have a constellation for her. The second playstyle is more of a damage focused sub DPS where you're trying to maximize her damage output. For this, I recommend using the Aqua Simulacra. You can obviously use some 5-star stat sticks that have crit rate or crit damage substats. Those do not provide her any HP bonus. What does provide her HP bonus is Silver Shower Heartstrings, but you cannot trigger the passives of this weapon. Only one out of the 3, which only gives 12% extra max HP, and you do not get any crit damage that you would get with the Aqua Simulacra. So if you do not have Aqua Simulacra or do not want to wish, I would just recommend playing Elegy or Favonius. She is perfectly fine played in the supportive playstyle. It's really, if you want to deal a lot of damage with her, that's when you get the Aqua. Let's talk about the artifact sets that you can use with Yelan. I would recommend using the Emblem of Severed Fate, as you need that extra ER that the set gives, and the 4-piece effects buff your burst, which is the main damage source of your character. So by using the artifact set, you're basically building damage indirectly. If you hate this set, or if you have C6 or very good pieces from the other sets that are good for her, you can use multiple 2-piece sets with the following 2-piece effects: Energy Recharge, Hydro Damage bonus, HP bonus, or Burst Damage bonus. Try mixing sets that have different effects. So, for example, HP bonus with Hydro Damage bonus, or HP bonus with Energy Recharge. Only mix 2 with the same effect if that build would be stronger than using different effect sets. So now let's talk about artifact stats. Most of the time you want to use an HP bonus Sands, a Hydro Damage Goblet, and a Crit Circlet. Let's go into details. If you are struggling to get your burst back, or you want to play comfortably with your Yelan, you can use ER Sands instead of the HP. This is true for both gameplay styles. If your Yelan is C0, getting 200% ER is recommended, so if your artifact stats have low amount of ER, you can pick the ER Sands. For your Goblet, going for HP bonus instead of Hydro Damage bonus is a bit of a downgrade, but if your HP bonus Goblet has better substats, then it could be a viable choice. When choosing a circlet, I would recommend picking crit rate for both gameplay styles. If you're using the Favonius Warbow, you need to crit sometimes to trigger its passive. If you're using the Aqua, you have enough crit damage from your weapon, you don't really need it from your circlet. If you're using Elegy or Favonius, try getting at least 60% crit rate and 120% crit damage, and keep this 1-to-2 ratio until you reach 75% crit rate, then you can go for more crit damage. If you're using the Aqua Simulacra, you should be able to start from 75-150. and keep this 1 to 2 ratio until you reach about 85-170, and then you can try to put everything into your crit damage. The top 1% players have, in an average, a 90 to 35 crit ratio. So let's look at her ER requirements real quick. I made a spreadsheet showing how much ER you need for different teams and what sense I recommend using with certain weapons. As you can see, using her in a double hydro team, which is already good for her damage output, also helps her lower her ER requirements. Where I put both main stat sense. If you have enough ER from your substats on other pieces, or you have an HP sense with high ER, you can just use HP sense. Otherwise, use ER sense. Let's have a quick look at who her best teammates are. I will make a detailed video showcasing the teams when we hit 15 subscribers, but you can already see some abyss clears with those teams on my channel. Technically, you can use her with any main DPS that uses normal attack or can use normal attacks, even if it isn't the best for them. This means you can play her in Vaporize teams with Yoimiya, Hutao, Arlecchino, or even with Mawuika if you're doing either the Zjef dash tech or you can just normal attack with her. You can use Yelan in Hyper Bloom teams with Alhaitham, or in Taser or Hyper Bloom teams with Chlorinde and Raiden. Technically, you can use her even with characters like Skirmush, Ayato, or Ayaka if you normal attack, with Navia because you want to hit some normal attacks after your skills, with Grizzly in a Freeze or Freeze Melt team, and you can use her even in a Nilu Bloom team.
Oh my god, I'm blooming!
For Double Hydro team cores, her best teammates are definitely Xingqiu and Furina. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you. I will be back with a detailed Yelan team guide and showcase against the boss. I didn't want to make this video too long, so that is why I'm doing it separately. Please tell me in the comments if I missed anything or if I said something wrong, and whether you liked that this video was voiced and I didn't communicate only through text. If you like the video, leave a like and sub for more. You can also suggest characters that you want me to make a guide on. I was thinking about doing a Yoimiya guide next, as she's one of my favorites. For now, we are going to go back to Abyss Clear videos. I have 2 lined up for you. Thank you for watching and see you soon.